Moshi moshi.
Good day, my dear student. Today we're gonna learn mathematics together. I am Ella V. Mandado, your teacher for grade 9 mathematics. I think this is a new day for fun and exciting activities. Together, let's be matibay, matalino, and matgaling. Alright? Please prepare your pen and paper and let us explore the fascinating concept of quadratic equation. Good morning, class! Before we start, let me introduce my name first. I am Ella V. Mandado. You can call me Teacher Ella. Alright? Before we formally start with our lesson this morning, may I request everyone to please stand? Thank you. Prayer leader, please lead the prayer. Amen. Alright, before you settle down, please arrange your chairs and tables as well as kindly pick up a piece of paper under your chairs and put it on your pocket. Thank you so much. You may now be seated. Now, let me introduce to you first our classroom rules. We have here, please listen carefully, follow directions, and work quietly. Alright, now let me first check your attendance. Please say present if your name is called. We have here Albus Mika. Thank you. Suarez Ken. Manalo Crizel. And Castro Carol. Alright, I'm very glad to see that you are all present for today's lesson. Okay, class, anyone of you here can remember what was our topic last meeting? Yes, Carol? You're right. Last meeting, we have discussed solving quadratic equation by extracting square roots. Now, who can give me one property of extracting square root? Yes, Carol, again? You're right. One property of extracting square root is that if k is greater than 0, then it has two real solutions, and that is positive and negative square root of k. Okay, now let's proceed to our topic this morning. But before that, let me introduce to you first your respective teams. Okay, can I request everyone to please count off 1, 2, 3? Please, 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much. Now, all number 1, please stand. All number 1, your team name is Team Math Geeks. And please form a group and kindly go to the left side of our room and form a circle. Okay, thank you so much. All number 2, please stand. Your team name is Team Mathemagicians and your color team is color blue. Okay, please settle down at the center of our room and please form a circle. Alright, all number 3, please stand. Thank you so much. Your team name is Team Math Pirates and your color team is color pink. Alright, kindly settle down at the right side of our room and please form a circle. Thank you so much. Now let's have a game. Do you like playing games? I think you are. Okay, so this game is called the Jumbled Letter Games. And please raise your hand in your group and you will be acknowledged. Okay? So, in every time you will get the correct answer, you will gain a stars. And the group with the highest stars will be the winner. And for those who have win, you will gain a prize from me. Alright? Are you now ready? Let's go! Alright? This first jumbled letter is... Yes! Team Green! Factoring, you're correct! Next, number 2 is Yes, Team Blue. Alright, solving. You're correct. Next. Yes, Team Pink. Alright, what is this again? This is quadratic. Yes, you're correct. Next. Yes, Team Green. Alright, you're correct. It is mathematics. And the last. Yes, Team Blue. You're correct, Team Blue. This is equations. Alright, thank you so much for your active participation with our game. I think you are all excited and energized to start our lesson this morning. Now, based from the activity that I have posted, what do you think is our lesson this morning? Yes, Team Green! Solving quadratic equations. Alright, thank you so much for that. Another coming from Team Blue. Alright, you're correct. Our topic this morning is all about solving quadratic equation by factoring. Alright, our topic this morning is all about solving quadratic equations by factoring. And our learning objectives are: first, define a zero product property. Second, enumerate the steps in solving quadratic equations. And third, solve quadratic equations by factoring. Thank you so much. Let's start with our first learning objective, which is to define a zero product property. Alright, any one of you here can define what is a zero product property? Alright, anyone? No idea? That's okay. Alright, so zero product property is... So a zero product property, if two numbers A and B are multiplied together and the resulting product is zero, then at least one of the numbers must be zero. And if A and B is equals to zero, then either A is equals to zero or B is equals to zero. Or it could be both A and B is equals to zero. Let's go to our second learning objective, which is to enumerate the steps in solving quadratic equation by factoring. We have here the steps in solving quadratic equation by factoring. Alright, so here are the steps. First is to transform the equation into the standard form ax squared plus bx plus c if necessary. Second, factor the quadratic expression. Third, apply the zero product property by setting each factor of the quadratic expression equal to zero. Fourth, solve each resulting equation. And fifth, check the values of the variable obtained by substituting each in the original equation. So anyone who have a question from this? So do you have a question from a zero product property? Anyone? None? How about the steps in solving quadratic equation by factoring? Do you have any questions? None again? Okay, so for us to be enlightened about how to really solve this quadratic equation by factoring, I have here an example. We have here our first example, which is to find the solutions of x squared plus 9x equals negative 8. Now, let's follow the steps provided in solving quadratic equation by factoring. First, we need to transform equation into standard form. Now, again, class, what is the standard form of quadratic equation? Anyone? Yes, Team Blue. You're correct. The standard form of quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c is equals to 0. Now, how to transform this into standard form? We need to add both sides sides by positive 8 so that negative 8 plus 8 is equals to 0. And we could already have x squared plus 9x plus 8 is equals to 0. Now let's go to our second step, which is to factor the quadratic expression. From the standard form, we need to think of a factor that could equate to 0. So our factor for this expression is x plus 1, the quantity of x plus 1 times the quantity of x plus 8 is equals to 0. Now, we need to go to our step 3. Again, what is the step 3? Anyone? Alright, you're correct. Our step 3 is to apply the zero product property, which is to set each factor of the quadratic expression equal to 0. Now we can have here x plus 1 is equals to 0 and x plus 8 is equals to 0. And that is step 3. Now, let's go to our step 4. We have solve the resulting equation. How to solve the resulting equation, or how to solve and find the solutions. What we need to do is, if we have already the factor and if we have already equate it into equals to 0 for both of the expression, we could find the values of x by for this first factor, we could have x plus 1 is equals to 0, and we could answer this and get the result by adding negative 1 both sides. So if we add negative 1 here at the left side, we have x plus 1 minus 1, alright, equal 0 minus 1. And we all know that positive 1 minus 1 is 0 and equals 0 minus 1. So we can have x is equals to negative 1. And same goes to the second factor. We can have x plus 8. What number should be added for 8 to be 0? So we can add both sides negative 8. So x plus 8 minus 8 is equals to 0 minus 8. We can have x is equals to negative 8. You're correct. Thank you so much for your participation. Alright, for us to verify that our values are correct, we need to do some checking. So what we need to do is to write first our solution, which is the first solution we have is x is equals to negative 1. Then write our equation, which is x squared plus 9x equals negative 8. Then we need to replace the values of x with our solution. The first solution we have is negative 1. So we can have negative 1 squared plus 9 and replace the value of x with negative 1. So 9 times the quantity of negative 1 equals negative 8. Then negative 1 squared is 1 plus 9 times negative 1, we have negative 9 is equals to negative 8. So 1 positive times negative 9, we have minus 1. So 1 minus 1 equals negative 8. So we can have negative 8 is equals to negative 8, which is correct. So one of our solution is correct. Now let's go to our second solution. We have x equals to negative 8. So same what we have did from our first, we replace the values of x with negative 8. So now we can have negative 8 squared plus 9 times negative 8 equals negative 8. Negative 8 squared is 64 minus 9 times negative 8 is negative 72 equals negative 8. So we can have 64 minus 72. We have negative 8 equals negative 8. So our values for this solution, x squared plus 9x equals negative 8, is correct. Alright, for us to really enlighten how to solve quadratic equation by factoring, let's have another example. which is to find the roots of the equation 6x squared plus 18x equals to 0. Now, what have you observed with our expression? Anyone from the class? Yes, Team Green? You're correct. Our expression is already on the standard form. Now, we have neglected the first step. So, let's go to our second step, which is to factor the expression. Now, how to factor this expression? Alright, what do you think is the factor for 6x squared plus 18x is equal to 0? Now, what have you observed? They are factorable by 3, right? So, what are the factors that could we use to factor 18? We can have, yes, Team Blue. Alright, you're correct. It could be 1 times 18. Yes, Team Green. Yes, 6 times 3. Now, we can have 6x. We could have x plus 3, right? So, we can have here x plus 3. So, if we solve this factor, we can have 6x times x is equals to 6x squared, right? Now, 6x times positive 3, we have plus 18x. So, now let's add, equate this into 0. Now, let's go to our step 3. Anyone from the class remember the step 3? Yes, Team Green? You're correct. The step 3 is to equate both of the expression is equal to 0. Now, how to do this? We can have 6x is equals to 0 and x plus 3 is equals to 0. Now, we have already applied the zero product property. Next, we could have the step 4, which is to solve the resulting equation. How to solve or how to find the roots of the expression. By this, we can have, to solve for the value of x, we can divide, for the first expression, we can divide both sides by 6. So, divide both sides by 6 and we can cancel this out. Now, we could be left with x is equals to 0 divided by 6. We all know that 0 divided by 6 is equals to 0. Now, for the second expression, we could use, we could have x plus 3. What number should be added for 3, positive 3, for this expression to be equals to 0? So, we could add negative 3 both sides. 0 minus 3. Now, we can have x is cancel. We can have this x is equals to negative 3. So, now we have already find the roots of the equation. What is the next step? Yes, you're correct. The next step is to do checking. So, let's check if our answer is correct. For us to check if our answer is correct, we need to replace the values of x with our roots. Now, how to do this is to first, for x equals to 0, we can have, first write the expression, which have 6x squared plus 18x is equals to 0. Now, we need to replace the value of x with our values. We have 6 times 0 squared plus 18 times 0 is equals to 0. Now, we could have 6 times 0. 6 times 0, of course, 0. Plus 18 times 0, of course, 0. So, it shows that our expression or our values for x equals to 0 is correct. Now, let's go to our second value, which is x equals negative 3. Write the expression first, plus 18x is equals to 0. Now, replace the value of x to negative 3. plus 18 times negative 3 is equals to 0. We can have 6. Negative 3 squared, we have 9. Right? Plus 18 times negative 3, we have negative 54. Right? Is equals to 0. Next, 6 times 9, 54, right? Minus 54 is equals to 0. So it shows that 0 is equals to 0. So it means that our value x is equals to negative 3 and x is equals to 0. And the roots of this equation are these two. So it shows that our roots and our values is correct. Alright, based from our two examples, do you have any questions? None? Alright, so solving quadratic equation is based on the zero product property of real numbers, right? Now, who can tell me again what is the definition of a zero product property? Yes, Team Green? Thank you so much. You're correct. And how about the steps? Who can enumerate to me the steps of solving quadratic equation by factoring? Yes, Team Blue? You're correct. Thank you so much for that. I think that you have really paid attention to our discussion earlier, right? So, for me to really test that you have understood our discussion earlier, let's have some activity. Alright, at this moment, let us test all your understanding. In your group, solve the following quadratic equation by factoring. Find the corresponding values on the box provided below. You are given 10 minutes to answer in your group and discuss what are the answer for the following expressions. Alright, your time starts now. Time is up. Now, let's answer the following expressions. Who can answer the first question? We have x squared minus 14 equals 5x. Anyone? Yes, Team Blue? Yes, you're correct. The answer for this expression is x equals to 7 and x equals negative 2. Number 2, who can answer? Yes, Team Green. You're right. The answer for this is s equals to 0 and s is equals to negative 4. Alright. Now, number 3. Yes, Team Pink. You're correct. The answer for this is h is equals to 2 and h is equals to negative 8. Now, for number 4, yes, Team Blue, you're correct. The answer for this is x is equals to negative 9 over 2 and x is equals to positive 9 over 2. Now, for number 5, yes, Team Green again, you're correct. The answer for this is x is equals to 0 and x is equals to negative 3. Wow! Great job! Thank you so much for the participation. Let's give a round of applause for ourselves. Alright, thank you so much. So at this moment, for me to really test that you have understood our lesson this morning, I have here an activity wherein it will be done individually and you may pass your paper after 15 minutes. Alright, so that we have here the directions. Find the solutions of the following quadratic equation by matching column A to column B. Write only the letter of the correct answer on the space provided before the number. Alright, so your time starts now. Hey class, time is up. Please pass your papers. Okay, thank you so much. For our assignment this morning, we will have Solve the following quadratic equation by factoring method. Show your complete solution and checking. So, since today is Friday, you may pass your paper on Monday. Alright, thank you so much for your cooperation and active participation. Update for our Math Galing teams. The one with the highest scores is the Team Math Geek. But since everyone is cooperating and participating, I will give all the groups a prizes. So claim your prizes later on. Thank you so much for your cooperation. And don't forget to pass your assignments on Monday, alright? Okay, so this is the end of our lesson. Thank you so much, class, and have a great day.